Okay, so with the really kind of the first um, episode that we had about this, we were talking being a self-reliant learner, and that's great. And I certainly want people to do that. Now let's talk about some of the things that might affect you with that. If you're going to go out there, you're going to go buy a book, watch a bunch of videos, DVDs. Do it this way. Say you're going to go buy a book. Get one book, maybe two, and then focus in on that book. Read a chapter or two and call it quits. Sit on that for about a week. The DVD the same way. If you're doing a DVD, let me give you a really good example of a way to digest a DVD. When you go, you buy the DVD, or most of them are online series now. I want you to do 3, maybe 4 techniques. All right, so watch those 4 techniques. Don't watch anymore. And then after that, I want you to quiz yourself if you can remember each of the 4 techniques. If you can, great. Then the next step that I want you to do is try to do a step-by-step breakdown of each one of those techniques. If you can do that, chances are that you probably already know this technique and you can probably move on. But chances are that you're going to miss a lot of those steps. So after you've kind of decided or gone through each one of those steps, either on paper or mentally, preferably on paper, that way it'll sink in a little bit better. But if you can, break those down and then rewatch it, see which parts you missed. If you didn't miss anything, man, I would be really, really surprised, because even myself, I've been doing this for almost 15 years now, and I'll still miss spots. But if you don't, then great. Like that's going to be awesome for you. Chances are, like I said, you probably already know this, and you can kind of move on. The other thing that I want you to do then is try to implement it in practice if you can. So in other words, if your coach will allow you to, like myself, we have individual time for you to be able to do stuff. Usually while people are rolling, you can pull people aside and say, hey, I want to work on this or that, and that's great. If you can do that, try to replicate those moves live with a person. Don't try to do them yet in competition, or try to do them while rolling, I should say. But just try to fill out those moves. If they work, great, awesome. And like I said, this is really for a book as well. But for a book, sometimes you tend to get further ahead, and it's got more mental material than physical material. So anyways, you'll kind of go in there, rep those techniques a couple times, go back, watch those 4 techniques again real quick, make sure that you didn't miss anything, that everything looks exactly the same as you. If you want to go really crazy with it, which I would probably suggest, videotape yourself with a phone to see if yours looks very similar to theirs. And then going back and doing that until everything looks really clean. Once you've done that, then I want you to try to use that in competition or in the classroom here, as far as live rolls, things like that. And then once you start doing that with those first 4 techniques, move on to the next 4 techniques. One big thing with becoming a self-reliant learner, and this is going to happen to everybody no matter how much I tell you not to do it, you're going to do it, is what they call analysis paralysis, where you're going out there and you're just getting way too much information about positions and everything, and going from there. And a lot of times you'll read or in my case, I bet I have 200 DVDs on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Have I watched all of them? No. Have I repped all the techniques? Certainly not. But I own them, and so I think by osmosis or whatever, I'm going to learn all that stuff. So you really have to make it a deliberate practice of going out there and trying to get the most out of those DVDs. Chances are they're really expensive, and you should get your money's worth. I know that I kick myself every time because I buy one and instantly I'm like, crap, I know I'm not going to go through all this. I should, but I know I'm not going to. So if you can, like I said, treat it like that, and get a deliberate practice, if you will, with some of those techniques. That's, like I said, pretty much it for this one. Like I said, I wanted to have you come in there and really think about the big takeaway from this is try to make it a deliberate practice, both when you're here in the gym, being mindful of the what's being taught and trying to retain it, and then also when you're outside of the gym, trying not to get too much information in and trying to make it a really good practice session of 15 or 20 minutes essentially of gaining information and then sitting on that for a while. 15 or 20 minutes of gaining information, sitting on that for a while. And that it's a slower process, but I'll guarantee you that you'll retain a lot more of it just from the, kind of having an emotional connection to what you're trying to learn. And we'll talk about that in the next episode.